The stars beyond the windows of Citadel Prime looked calm, but inside the Grand Assembly Hall, the air was thick with tension. The hall was massive, filled with hundreds of representatives from every corner of the galaxy. Tall, thin aliens with glowing skin sat beside thick, armored creatures with sharp tusks. The walls hummed with soft energy, but no one noticed. All eyes were on the center platform, where the human delegation stood. At the front of the human group stood Captain Alex Carter, wearing the dark blue uniform of the Terran Diplomatic Defense Fleet. His jaw was tight, his hands locked behind his back. His dark eyes scanned the crowd, looking for any sign of danger. He knew this moment would change everything. Council Chancellor Korvek, leader of the Varn Dominion, sat on the high throne at the head of the assembly. His skin was rough and dark like stone. His cold, yellow eyes watched Alex and the human leaders without blinking. Around him sat the High Council, rulers of the galaxy's most powerful species. Alex didn't trust any of them. The human leader, Ambassador Elena Gray, stepped forward. Her voice was strong, but Alex could hear the strain beneath her words. "We come before you today," she began, "to announce humanity's decision to withdraw from the Galactic Council." The words echoed through the hall. Some gasped. Others whispered to each other. A few smiled, smiles that Alex didn't like. Korvek didn't move. He sat still, like a statue, his sharp claws resting on the armrests of his throne. Ambassador Gray continued. "For 2 centuries, we have served as members of this council. We have honored your laws. We have sent our ships to fight your wars. But we have received no true voice, no real respect. We stand today to reclaim our right to govern ourselves, free from outside control." The whispers turned into angry murmurs. The air grew heavier. Alex kept his face blank, but inside, his heart pounded like a drum. He knew what was coming next. Korvek finally stood. His voice was deep and cold, filling the hall like thunder. "You speak of respect, Ambassador," he said slowly, "but what you ask is dangerous. The balance of the galaxy depends on unity. You seek to break that balance. This is not a choice we can allow." Alex stepped forward, breaking his silence. "With all due respect, Chancellor, the choice is not yours to make." Gasps filled the room again. Some stood in shock. Others leaned forward, eager to see what would happen next. Korvek turned his eyes to Alex. His voice lowered, becoming sharper. "Do you speak for all of Earth, Captain Carter?" Alex nodded once. "I do." Korvek let the words hang in the air before speaking again. "If you leave this council, you leave alone. No trade, no protection, no allies. And if your actions threaten galactic peace, you will face the consequences." Alex held his ground. "We are ready to face them." The Chancellor's claws dug into the armrests. His voice dropped to a near whisper. "So be it." He turned away, signaling the end of the meeting. The council members began to rise, their faces filled with anger, worry, or cold satisfaction. Alex turned to Ambassador Gray. She gave him a slight nod, her face pale but steady. "It has begun," she whispered. As the human delegation left the hall, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they had just walked into something far bigger than anyone had planned. He knew the council would not let Earth go so easily. But he also knew one thing for certain. Humanity had made its choice. The journey back to the Terran embassy on Citadel Prime was silent. No one spoke. No one needed to. Every member of the human delegation felt the weight of what had just happened. They had made their stand, and now they had to prepare for the fallout. Captain Alex Carter walked to the front of the group, his eyes moving across the busy corridors of the Citadel. Guards in silver armor stood on every corner. Alien workers moved quickly, pretending not to watch the humans pass. Even here, on neutral ground, Alex felt like a target. When they reached the embassy, the guards locked the doors behind them. The walls of the building were lined with dark glass and heavy steel. It was safe for now. Inside the main conference room, Ambassador Elena Gray stood at the head of the table. Her voice was steady, but her face showed the cracks forming beneath the pressure. "We made our move," she said, looking around the table at her advisors and military officers. "But we all know what happens next." Alex leaned forward, resting his hands on the table. They won't let us leave quietly. Korvek made that clear. One of the diplomats, Darius Holt, shook his head. Maybe it's not too late. Maybe they'll back down. Elena turned her sharp eyes toward him. You heard what he said. There's no backing down. Not now. The room fell silent. Alex felt the same unease creeping up his spine. He knew they had crossed a line. The only question left was how far the council would go to force them back into place. Just then, Director Sophia Lane, head of Terran Intelligence, stood up. She looked more serious than usual, her voice dropping low. I have something you all need to hear, she said, pressing a button on the table. A small hologram flickered to life above the center of the table. It showed a recorded message, one not meant for human ears. Korvek's voice filled the room. We have support from members within their own ranks. Some in their government are already working with us. They will weaken their defenses from within. Earth will not stand for long. Gasps filled the room. Faces turned pale. Darius Holt stood up quickly, shaking his head. This can't be real, he whispered. Sophia nodded grimly. It's real. We've been betrayed. Someone, maybe more than one, has already made deals with the council. They're trying to stop us from the inside. Alex's fists tightened. He knew it. He had felt something was off for weeks. Now the truth was staring them all in the face. Do we know who they are? Alex asked. Sophia sighed. Not yet, but I've started tracing the messages. They're hiding their tracks well. Elena looked around the room. We can't risk waiting. We need to prepare Earth's defenses now. Quietly. If the traitors find out, they'll try to stop us. Alex nodded. I'll return to Earth. I'll take command of the fleet and prepare our systems for lockdown. We can't trust anyone outside this room. The ambassador agreed. Go. Move fast. We don't have much time. As the meeting ended, Alex walked out onto the balcony overlooking the city below. The lights of Citadel Prime stretched out like stars. But to Alex, the beauty felt hollow now. He knew Korvek would strike soon. And now, he knew the greater threat might already be hiding within his own people. He clenched his jaw, staring into the distance. If humanity was going to survive, they had to act fast. Trust no one. Prepare for the worst. Captain Alex Carter stood on the bridge of the TDS Horizon, his flagship. The blackness of space stretched out before him. Somewhere beyond the stars, Earth waited. It had been 2 weeks since he left Citadel Prime. 2 weeks since the Council declared them enemies. Every day since then, the tension had grown. Messages from Citadel Prime were becoming fewer. The Council had started blocking human communications. Trade ships returning from Council space reported heavy patrols on the outer trade routes. Still, no attack had come. Yet, Alex stared at the star map hovering above the bridge table. Red markers blinked across the outer edge of human space. Those were Council warships. They had arrived silently, claiming they were only there to maintain peace. But Alex knew better. This was not peacekeeping. This was a show of force. Status? Alex asked, keeping his voice calm. No new movements from the Council fleet, replied Commander Riley, his second-in-command. But sensors picked up strange signals near Galen 4 Station. Could be interference. Could be worse. Galen 4 was a small mining outpost near the border. It wasn't important to the Council, but it was part of Earth's territory. Alex's jaw tightened. Send a scout team, he ordered. I want eyes on that station. Now. Within minutes, the small scout ship TDS Falcon launched toward Galen 4. Alex watched its marker move across the map, a single blue light surrounded by red threats. Hours passed. No word. Alex paced the bridge, every minute adding weight to his chest. Finally, the communications officer spoke. We have a signal. It's the Falcon. Alex leaned in. Put it through. The voice that came through was broken and panicked. This is Falcon under attack. Council ships fired on Galen. For station is gone requesting. The transmission cut off. The bridge fell silent. Alex felt the weight of those words settle in his chest like a stone. Give me visuals, he ordered. A shaky video feed appeared. Smoke and fire filled the black sky. The wreckage of Galen 4 floated in pieces, burning in the void. No signs of survivors. Commander Riley's voice was tight with anger. They attacked without warning. Alex nodded slowly. They made the first move. The officers on the bridge stood waiting for his next order. Alex knew what this meant. If they didn't fight back now, the Council would keep pushing, destroying one station after another until Earth surrendered. He turned toward the crew, his voice steady and clear. Send word to the fleet. All ships move to defensive positions around Earth. Prepare all stations for lockdown. And launch a counterstrike squad to push back their outer patrols. Riley hesitated. That's war, Captain. Alex nodded. It's already started. The bridge buzzed with activity. Alarms sounded. Orders flew across the fleet. Earth was preparing for its first true fight for freedom in over 2 centuries. Alex knew they were outnumbered. The Council's fleets were larger, stronger, and better equipped. But this wasn't about power. It was about survival. About standing when the galaxy expected them to fall. As the Terran defense fleet moved into position, Alex stared out into the dark. Somewhere out there, Chancellor Korvac was watching. Waiting. Alex whispered under his breath. We're ready for you. The cold blackness of space hung heavy outside the windows of the TDS horizon. Captain Alex Carter stood at the front of the bridge, staring at the star map again. Red markers blinked closer every hour. The Council's warships were moving toward Earth's outer defense lines. Alex had already sent squadrons to push them back. Small skirmishes had broken out across the borders. No major battles yet, but it was clear the Council was tightening the noose. He knew they couldn't face the Council alone, not forever. He needed help. Down in the war room, Alex met with his senior officers and diplomatic team. The air was thick with tension. Ambassador Elena Gray appeared on the secure screen, her face drawn and tired. We have sent requests to all known neutral species, she said. So far, nothing. They're staying out of it. Alex rubbed his jaw. We have to try harder. Someone out there doesn't trust the Council. We just need one ally to stand with us. Ambassador Gray nodded. I've arranged secret talks with the Orion Pact and the Vector Coalition. They've both had problems with Council control before, but they fear Korvac's power. Alex stood. I'll go myself. Riley raised an eyebrow. You're leaving the fleet? We can't win this alone, Alex said. If I don't try, we lose anyway. The TDS Valiant, a smaller diplomatic cruiser, left Earth's fleet under heavy escort. Its mission was simple: find anyone willing to help. First, they traveled to the Orion Pact's home world, a bright desert planet known as Zara. Alex stood in the council chambers of the Orion leaders. Their golden-skinned representatives listened in silence as Alex explained the threat. If the council crushes us, you'll be next, Alex warned. The Orion leader, High Speaker Varnai, spoke softly. We respect your bravery, Captain Carter, but we cannot fight the council. Not alone. Alex pressed on. You won't be alone. Stand with us, and we stand together. But the High Speaker shook her head. We cannot risk our people. I am sorry. Days later, Alex arrived at the Vector Coalition space station. The Vector were strong fighters, known for their powerful fleets. He met with their commander, General Kale, in a dark war room lit by red lights. Kale leaned back in his chair. We've watched the council for years. You're not wrong about them, but we can't afford a war right now. Our worlds are weak. Our people are tired. Alex leaned forward. You think the council will stop with us? You think I'll let you live free forever? Kale sighed. We have no choice. Defeated and frustrated, Alex returned to the Valiant. He stood alone in the observation deck, staring out into the stars. They had no allies. No one would risk standing with humanity. He clenched his fists. Every door had closed. Every hopeful path had ended in silence or fear. Commander Riley joined him, speaking quietly. What now, sir? Alex didn't turn. He just kept staring at the stars. We stand alone, he said. We fight alone. We win or we fall, but we do it on our own terms. Riley nodded slowly. Then we'd better be ready. Alex finally turned toward her, his face hard but steady. Ready the fleet. Bring everyone home. If the council wants to crush us, they'll have to come to Earth. The ship turned back toward home, leaving behind empty promises and closed doors. The fleet gathered once more over Earth, preparing for the battle that was now certain. Alone or not, humanity would stand its ground. The Terran defense fleet floated in high orbit above Earth. Hundreds of ships stood ready, their dark shapes glowing faintly under the light of Earth's sun. On the surface below, defense stations locked down, cities prepared for emergency evacuation drills, and military forces took position across every continent. Inside the command center of the TDS Horizon, Captain Alex Carter watched the final defense plans come together. He knew this was the moment they had been preparing for. The Council would come soon, and they would come hard. All systems ready, Captain, reported Commander Riley, standing at his side. Alex nodded. Keep the fleet in full alert. The Council won't wait much longer. He turned to the communication officer. Send word to all stations. Begin final security checks. The officer nodded and began sending the signals. Everything seemed ready. But later that night, something felt wrong. Alex sat alone in his quarters, staring at a report from Director Sophia Lane. She had flagged a strange data transfer. Someone had sent secure fleet movements to an unknown source outside Earth's defense network. Alex leaned back in his chair. The traitors were still here. He called Sophia at once. I thought we locked them out. Sophia appeared on the screen, looking frustrated. So did I. But they found another way. Someone inside the fleet is still feeding the Council information. Ooh, Alex asked. I'm tracing it now. But I need more time, she replied. Alex stood. You have until morning. After that, we lock everything down. The next morning came with news Alex feared the most. Sophia's face appeared again on the secure line. We found them, Captain, she said. It's Darius Holt. Alex felt his stomach twist. Holt had been part of the diplomatic team. He had stood in the same room as Elena Gray when they declared independence. He had argued to back down, but no one had suspected him of betrayal. Are you sure? Alex asked. Sophia nodded. We caught him sending data to a hidden channel linked to the Council. I have proof. Alex wasted no time. Bring him in. Quietly. Hours later, Holt stood in the interrogation room. Alex watched him through the glass window. Holt didn't look afraid. He looked calm. Alex entered the room and sat across from him. You sold us out, Alex said, his voice low and sharp. Holt leaned back, folding his arms. I saved us. You think we can win this? The Council will destroy Earth. I gave them what they wanted to spare us. By giving them our defenses? Our people. Alex's fists tightened. They promised peace, Holt replied coldly. Alex stood slowly. You gave them nothing but weakness. And they don't respect weakness. Holt said nothing. He knew the truth. The Council never planned to spare Earth. They just wanted it easier to crush. Alex turned to the guard. Take him away. Full security lockdown on all fleet systems. No one gets in or out without my order. That night, Alex stood before his fleet. His voice echoed through every ship, every station, every command center on Earth. We have been betrayed from within, he said. But the traitors have failed. The Council is coming, and we will stand together. No more deals. No more fear. We fight for our future. We fight for Earth. The fleet answered with a single, powerful signal. Ready. The betrayal had been stopped. But Alex knew the real fight was just ahead. The Council's fleet was on the move. Bigger, stronger, faster. They were coming, and humanity would meet them head-on. The alarm lights on the TDS horizon turned red. A sharp, steady tone rang through every hallway and control room. Captain Alex Carter stood on the bridge, his face set like stone. Report, he ordered, already knowing what the answer would be. The Council fleet has arrived, Commander Riley said softly. Alex turned to the star map. It showed dozens of red markers entering the outer edge of Earth's defense zone. Korvek had brought everything. Battleships, carriers, fighter swarms. Their fleet stretched across the void like a moving wall. They outnumber us 5-1, Riley added, her voice heavy. Alex nodded slowly. We knew they would. The bridge crew waited for his next words. Every second felt longer than the last. Alex took a breath and spoke loud and clear. Signal the fleet. Begin defense pattern Omega 3. Bring the enemy in close before we strike. And prepare all ground stations for fallback defense. The crew moved fast. The Terran defense fleet spread out, forming a tight wall around Earth. Every ship turned its weapons toward the oncoming enemy. The first wave came fast. Council fighters broke through the darkness like a swarm of burning stars. They dove toward the human ships, weapons flashing. The horizon shook as the first blast hit its shields. "Shields holding," Riley reported. "Return fire," Alex ordered. Laser cannons and missile batteries lit up the sky. The first enemy fighters exploded into flames. But the waves kept coming. Behind them, Council battleships opened fire. Beams of blue energy crossed space, slamming into Earth's fleet. The horizon shook again, harder this time. Lights flickered on the bridge. "Rear flank reports heavy damage," Riley called out. Alex scanned the star map. He could see the Council fleet trying to push through their lines. If they broke the defense wall, they could strike Earth's surface. "Hold the line," Alex said through clenched teeth. "We fight here. We don't let them pass." Hours passed. The sky burned with wreckage. Both sides had taken heavy losses, but the Council still pushed forward. Their numbers seemed endless. "Sir, we won't hold much longer," Riley warned. Alex's hands tightened into fists. His mind raced. They needed something, anything, to turn the fight. Then, a new signal flashed on the map. Neutral fleets were nearby. Ships from the Orion Pact, the Vector Coalition, and others who had refused to help before. They weren't attacking. They were just watching. Alex took a gamble. "Open all channels," he ordered. The comms officer nodded. "Channels open." Alex stood tall, speaking loud enough to reach every ship in the area. "Friend, foe, and watcher. This is Captain Alex Carter of Earth. We fight today, not just for our world, but for the right of all free species to choose their own path. The Council rules by fear, but today we stand against them. You can stay silent and let them crush us, or you can stand with us, right here, right now. The choice is yours." The bridge went silent. Seconds passed like hours. Then something happened. The neutral fleets stopped moving. They turned toward the Council's forces, but they didn't fire. They just stood there. "What are they doing?" Riley whispered. Alex smiled faintly. "They're refusing to fight us." Without their support, the Council fleet's wall started to fall apart. Some ships broke formation. Others slowed down, unsure if the neutrals would turn on them. Alex saw the opening. "All ships, follow me. We hit their center now." The horizon charged forward, leading the Terran fleet into the heart of the Council's formation. Weapons roared. Explosions lit the sky. The enemy, shaken by the loss of support, struggled to hold the line. Alex locked his sights on the biggest ship, the Council flagship. "Corvex ship. Bring us in close," Alex ordered. The horizon dodged enemy fire, pushing straight toward the giant ship. Its shields glowed bright under the impact of Terran weapons. "Concentrate all fire on their bridge," Alex shouted. The horizon's cannons lit up one final time, sending a wave of energy straight into the enemy ship's command center. The Council flagship exploded, breaking apart in a massive fireball. The Council fleet began to retreat, pulling back from Earth's defenses. Cheers erupted across the Terran fleet. The impossible had happened. They had won. Alex stood on the bridge, breathing hard. He knew the war wasn't truly over. The Council still ruled the galaxy. But today Earth had stood its ground, and the galaxy had watched. The wreckage of battle drifted in space above Earth. Burned-out ships, shattered fighters, and broken debris floated silently in the darkness. Fires still burned on some of the wrecked ships, small orange lights flickering in the cold black sky. On the bridge of the TDS horizon, Captain Alex Carter stood quietly. His face showed no pride, no joy, only deep relief. The Council fleet had retreated, but the cost had been high. Many of Earth's ships were gone. Hundreds of brave men and women had given their lives. "Status report," Alex said quietly. Commander Riley stepped up beside him. Her voice was steady, but her eyes were heavy with loss. "Enemy fleet has pulled back beyond the outer defense line. No signs of movement. Earth surface reports no major damage. Civilian casualties are low. We held the line, Captain." Alex nodded. "And the neutral fleets?" Riley checked her console. "Still holding position. No attacks. No retreat." just watching. Alex knew what they were waiting for. He turned toward the communications officer. "Open all channels again." The officer nodded. "Channels open." Alex stepped forward. This time, his voice carried not just to the neutral fleets, but to every world connected to the Council's network. The battle had drawn attention across the galaxy. Billions of beings were listening. Alex spoke clearly, without fear. "I am Captain Alex Carter of Earth. Today we stood against the strongest power in the galaxy. We stood for our freedom. We stood alone, but we did not fall. The Council wanted to crush us. They failed. We are still here. And from this day forward, humanity will choose its own path. We will not be ruled by fear. We will not be silenced. We invite any who believe in freedom to stand with us. We do not ask for control. We do not ask for power. We ask only for the right to live free." The message ended. The bridge went silent. No one spoke. No one moved. The entire galaxy seemed to hold its breath. Then, one by one, small signals began to appear on the star map. Messages from distant worlds. Ships from neutral species signaling peaceful contact. Small, but clear steps toward something bigger. Later, in the command hall on Earth, Alex met with Ambassador Elena Gray and other leaders. They stood before a large screen showing the growing list of species sending messages of support or peace. "You did it, Captain," Elena said softly. "You started something no one thought was possible." Alex shook his head. "We only survived today. The real fight is ahead. The Council won't give up easily." Elena smiled faintly. "No, they won't. But we're not alone anymore." Alex nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. Humanity had taken its first step as an independent power. Not by force, not by control, but by standing firm when the galaxy expected them to fall. That night, Alex stood alone outside the horizon, looking up at the stars. The sky felt different now. Not smaller, not distant, but open. Full of new dangers, yes, but also full of new hope. He knew the future would not be easy, but humanity was no longer afraid. They had found their voice, and they had proven to the galaxy that they would not bow. Alex took a deep breath and whispered to the stars, "We're just getting started.